Many English learners believe one quiet lie. The lie is, I will speak when I am ready. It sounds responsible. It sounds careful. It sounds like a good plan. First, I will learn more words. Then I will fix my grammar. Then I will watch more videos. Then I will speak. But for many learners, that day never comes. Because ready is not a clear moment. There is always one more word to learn, one more rule to check, one more mistake to avoid, one more reason to wait. And while you wait, your speaking does not get easier. It gets heavier. Today, we are going to reset that idea. By the end of this episode, you will have 3 safe first sentences you can use before you feel ready. Not perfect sentences. Not advanced sentences. First sentences. Because the first sentence is the hardest part. Once you start, the next sentence becomes easier. So the goal today is not to sound impressive. The goal is to start. Here's the old pattern. Someone asks you a question in English. Maybe they ask, what do you think about this idea? You understand the question. You have an opinion, but your brain says, wait, the sentence is not ready. So you search, you correct, you translate. You imagine a better version, and the other person is waiting. Then the pressure grows. Now the sentence feels even less ready. So you say something very small, or you smile, or you say nothing. That is not a knowledge problem. Very often, it is a starting problem. You do not need a perfect full answer first. You need a safe first sentence. A first sentence is a small bridge. It takes you from silence to movement. It tells your brain, we are speaking now. We can improve as we go. So here is the reset. Do not wait for the full answer. Start with one safe first sentence. Then add one simple idea. The first safe sentence is, let me start simply. This sentence is useful because it lowers the pressure immediately. It tells the other person that you are going to begin with a simple version. It also tells your brain that simple English is allowed. Imagine you are in a meeting. Someone says, what do you think about this plan? The old pattern is, you try to prepare a complete answer. You want the correct words. You want the correct structure. You want to sound smart. But because you want everything at once, you freeze. Awkward. I think maybe it is, yes. Then you stop. Better. Let me start simply. I think the main problem is time. That answer is not complicated, but it is clear. And now you are in the conversation. You can add one more sentence. We may need one more week. Now you have a real answer. Listen to the difference. Awkward. I need the perfect answer before I speak. Better? Let me start simply. I think the main problem is time. Try the first sentence now. Let me start simply. Again. Let me start simply. Now add one idea. Let me start simply. I think this is useful. Again with a different idea. Let me start simply. I need more time. That is the first reset. You are not waiting for readiness. You are creating readiness with a small start. Now let us use it in a normal conversation. A friend asks, how was your weekend? This question looks easy. But easy questions can still feel difficult when you want to give a nice answer. You may think, should I say it was relaxing? Should I explain what I did? Should I use past simple correctly? Should I say something interesting? That is too much work before the first sentence. So use the reset. Let me start simply. It was quiet. Then add one small detail. I stayed home and rested. That is enough. You can continue if you want. I also watched a film in the evening. But you do not need to start with the full story. Start with the door, then walk through it. Here are 3 simple versions. Let me start simply, it was busy. Let me start simply, it was quiet. Let me start simply, it was better than I expected. You can use this in many situations. At work, let me start simply, I think we should wait. With a friend. Let me start simply, I had a good day. In class, let me start simply, I do not understand the second part. The phrase is small, but the effect is big. It gives your mouth a path. And sometimes that is all you need. Like, the second safe first sentence is, I do not have the perfect words, but this sentence is for moments when perfection is blocking you. Maybe you know the idea. Maybe you can explain it in your language. But in English, you are not sure. So you wait. You hope the perfect words will appear, but they do not appear because the pressure is too high. This sentence lowers the pressure. I do not have the perfect words, but it gives you permission to speak with simple language. It also makes the other person more patient. You are not pretending to be perfect. You are showing that you are trying to communicate. Imagine someone asks, why do you disagree? The old pattern is you feel the idea. You know something is wrong. But you cannot build a beautiful answer. So you say, I do not know. Or, it is difficult. Better, I do not have the perfect words, but I think the problem is the cost. That is clear. It is useful. It starts the answer. Then you can add, it may be too expensive for a small team. Now the conversation can continue. You did not need perfect words. You needed honest first words. Try it now. I do not have the perfect words, but again, I do not have the perfect words, but now finish it with one simple idea. I do not have the perfect words, but I think it is too fast. Another one. I do not have the perfect words, but I liked the main idea. Another one. I do not have the perfect words, but I need a little more context. This sentence is especially good when you feel shy. It protects you from the feeling that every sentence must be correct. It reminds you communication can start before perfection. Now let us use it in a story. Someone asks, what happened yesterday? You want to tell a small story, but stories are difficult because they have order. First, this happened, then that happened, then I felt this, then I decided that. Your brain wants to prepare everything before speaking, so use a safe first sentence. I do not have the perfect words, but I can explain the basic idea. Then tell the story in simple pieces. First, the meeting started late. Then we had a problem with the file, so I had to send it again. That is a story. It is not fancy. It is clear, and clear is enough. The third safe first sentence is. The simple version is, this one is powerful because it stops your brain from trying to explain everything. Many learners freeze because they try to give the complete version. The complete version has all the details. It has the reason. It has the background. It has the exception. It has the perfect word you cannot remember. But in real conversation, you usually do not need the complete version first. You need the simple version first. Then you can add detail later. Imagine someone asks, why were you nervous? The old pattern is you try to explain your whole feeling. You search for words like pressure, expectation, confidence, preparation. And while you search, you stop speaking. Better, the simple version is, I was nervous because the question was sudden. That answer works. It is simple. It is natural. It opens the door for more. You can add, I knew the answer, but I needed a second to organize it. Now you sound clear. Not because the first sentence was perfect, because the first sentence was useful. Try the pattern now. The simple version is, again. The simple version is, now finish it. The simple version is, I need more time. Another one. The simple version is, I agree with the idea. Another one. The simple version is, I was not ready for the question. Good. This is the moment where most learners wait. They think, I need to be ready first. But the reset is simple. Readiness comes after small starts, not before. Let us put the 3 first sentences together. 1. Let me start simply. Use it when the question feels too big. 2. I do not have the perfect words, but use it when perfection is blocking you. 3. The simple version is, use it when your answer has too many details. Now we will practice with 3 real moments. Moment 1. Someone asks, what do you think about this plan? Do not wait for the full answer. Start with, let me start simply. Then add one idea. You can say, let me start simply, I think the timeline is too short. Or, let me start simply, I like the goal, but I need more details. Moment 2. Someone asks, why was it difficult? Start with, I do not have the perfect words, but then add one reason. You can say, I do not have the perfect words, but there were too many steps. Or, I do not have the perfect words, but I felt a lot of pressure. Moment 3. Someone asks, can you explain what happened? Start with, the simple version is, then add one clear sentence. You can say, the simple version is, we started late and lost time. Or, the simple version is, I made a small mistake and fixed it later. Notice what all 3 answers have in common. They are not impressive. They are not advanced. They are not perfect. But they move. And movement is the skill. If you wait until your English feels ready, speaking stays in your head. If you use one safe first sentence, speaking moves into your mouth. That is the real reset. You do not need confidence before the first sentence. You often get confidence after the first sentence. Now, let us do the final spoken win. Choose one of the 3 starters. Let me start simply. I do not have the perfect words, but the simple version is, now answer this question. What is one thing you want to improve in your English? Start with one safe sentence. For example, let me start simply. I want to answer faster. Or, I do not have the perfect words, but I want to stop freezing. Or, the simple version is, I want to speak before I feel ready. Say your answer out loud now. Good. That is the win. Not a perfect answer. A started answer. Before you leave, write one sentence in the comments. Start with, let me start simply, then add your idea. One simple sentence is enough. Remember this. You do not become ready and then speak. You speak in small, safe sentences. And that is how you become ready.